Hello everyone, welcome to my second video lesson. Today we'll be talking about Day and Age, a very nice acoustic bluesy song composed by Julian Lage. I'm sure most of you are pretty familiar with this tune. There are a few versions of this song available, but my transcription is based on the video that he created for Collins guitars. I feel like this one is really spontaneous and excited, and it's super fun to listen, and it's also super fun to play. First I will talk about some general things about the song, then I will discuss few specific parts, and at the end I have a key takeaway for you. So one thing that we can learn from this song and try to incorporate in our own playing. So without further ado, let's jump into the lesson. First of all, we need to talk a bit about the picking. Day and Age, the same as I think all songs on World's Fair and in Julian Lage playing in general, requires a technique called hybrid picking. It basically means that you need to hold your pick between thumb and index finger and have rest three fingers available for plucking some other notes or plucking a chord when it's needed. To illustrate the principle, let's try to play first 4 bars of the melody. I colored the notes to help you distinguish which notes should be played with pick and which with fingers. In my opinion, Day and Age is not very difficult hybrid picking song, especially that in improvised parts, fingers are not used that often. So if you are a solid picker and you want to dive a little bit into hybrid picking, I think that's a very good choice, because with a bit of practice, you should be fine. You can check out, for example, Tommy Emmanuel and his hybrid picking style. It's out of this world. This song has a rather short theme. It has only 16 bars and it's played in a lively tempo, so actually the song goes quite fast. Now let's try to identify melody of the song. So in other words, what notes would you get when you want to sing or hum the song? I end up with something like this. Once you have realized that and you have this melody in your head, there are 2 benefits. First of all, now you know which notes need to be played louder to make the melody stand out, which is always a good thing. That's a rule for every song. And second, you will get freedom to play the melody without being forced to play transcription note for note exactly the same each time. When I record, I try to play all song as close to tap as possible. But when I play for fun, I give myself more freedom, so there'll be things happening and changing here and there. You can add some single notes, you can throw a chord somewhere, you can even omit non-melody notes that are in the transcription. Just experiment, have some fun. I'm sure that Julian would appreciate it. Okay, now let's get into specific parts. Of course, there are many interesting things happening in the song. However, I need to choose a few to show you in this video. Let's start with the chromatic run in the intro. Here an interesting thing is that Julian holds D sharp on 4th fret while playing next 7 or 8 notes in the bar number 8. Another thing about this run is that it's not actually just a simple chromatic scale going up. So from the moment when he starts going up from B flat note on A string, so 1st fret on A string, he doubles the notes of open strings. This creates a little surprise and makes this chromatic run not so obvious. Julian also does the position shift with his index finger, and I do it with my fourth finger, but I don't think it makes much of a difference. On the second exposition of the theme, Julian plays a very nice variation on the melody. Pull off from B to G sharp, and just right after that, he creates an artificial harmonic chord by hitting the fingerboard. In general, to create artificial harmonic, you need to touch the string 12th fret above what you fret with your left hand and then pluck the string. So in this case, we are aiming for A major 7 arpeggio, so these notes. And with artificial harmonics, it sounds like this. But we are not aiming for having separate notes, we need to have a chord, so we hit the fretboard obliquely to get this sound. There is a major bluesy pentatonic lick that we can find between repetition of melodies, and that seems very easy but actually has a little trick to it. The phrase starts at the upbeat of last measure and it has one hammer-on, so we might say nothing fancy, but here key is fingering. You need to hold last 3 notes of this lick as E major chord. This way your first finger will be on G string on the first fret, and it will enable for a very smooth transition. So from this shape you go directly to this shape, and first finger is like guiding the movement. There is an awesome triplet lick that starts the solo part. It is based on this major bluesy pentatonic that I was talking about before, and I will talk also about this at the end of the video. In the lick you have a set of slides and hammer-ons that needs to create a one very smooth phrase. Julian is here repeating notes E and G sharp, but not using open strings or anything like that, but instead he frets E, then he slides on the third string to the same note, so we get something like this, and then he hit E note once again, so we get this kind of a movement, and then he does a similar thing for the G sharp, so it sounds like this. It can be intimidating as this lick is quite difficult to execute, especially in tempo. So be sure to practice this slowly. If you find yourself practicing this on a loop, make sure to play it from this E major chord. I personally feel that it helps to keep the good tempo and good grip through the rest of this lick. Sliding chords on acoustic guitar can be challenging. Julian does this in 2 places, and it really shows how much control he has over the instrument. Balance is key. You need to push the strings just enough to get clean sound, but not too much, because then it will be hard for you to move hands smoothly. Trust me, practicing this is worth it. It really helps with the control and precision you have on the instrument. I had to include this one because I feel it's one of Julian's signature licks. You can find it in many of his solos and improvisations. It's a major arpeggio, quite simple, but with one note repeated. So in our case it's a B major arpeggio played through 2.5 octave. So in tempo it's something like that. Repeating of that note enable us to switch position, which makes the whole lick sounds very smooth and actually looks a little more difficult than it is. I want to end this video with one general takeaway, like one thing that you can learn and incorporate in your own playing. And this is something that I was referring before as a major bluesy pentatonic. E, G, G sharp, B and C sharp. These are notes that seem to be kind of a roadmap for Julian's improvisation on this tune. I tried to find what's the name of this scale, but I couldn't, so maybe you can help me if you know what is the official name for this scale. But either way, it can be played like this. This scale is used in two licks I was discussing before, but I think it's present in many places in Julian's improvisation. What I found out is that it is a very nice tool to improvise over a major chord that has a bluesy color to it, but without introducing this dominant tension. It is more bluesy than major pentatonic, which sounds like this, but at the same time it doesn't have this dominant bite. I encourage you to experiment with this scale. Maybe try play it over a simple blues progression. So then build a scale from the root of each chord and see what happens. So this might be an example of blues in E. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I love creating these videos. They are super fun to make, but also they are extremely time consuming. So maybe you can consider supporting me on Patreon, where I started a few days ago. You can drop me a few bucks and it will help me to make more of this type of content and grow as a musician and also as a teacher. For that, you will get a set of PDF files that I created and also some exclusive content that will be uploaded to Patreon only. Once again, thanks for watching this video and see you next time. Goodbye.